Off air. Live.
Hi.
We're live. We are live. Hey, gang. How is everybody? That's going to be a silent response, which might be awkward. We're going to assume that everybody's great. We're great here. Quick round of introductions in the Peak Design office. I'm Peter. Peter 1, I suppose. I'm Peter 2. Peter Lockett, supply chain, videos. Mark Wang right here. Mark does marketing and let's call it the computer engineering aspect of Peak Design. Art Vijay, head designer. There's your man. Yell at him for any problems with the product. Absolutely. Jen Howell recently came on full time. She's been with us for a long time doing shipping and customer service. Just got her MBA, so now we have to pay her a bunch more, and she works full time. Dave Van Hall.
Hey, everyone.
Chief Financial Officer of Peak Design. He's a pretty big wheel if you will crack him.
Master of coin.
Master of coin, actually, yeah, that's a great point. And Adam, you want to say hi?
I'm Adam. I'm the marketing guy here in Austin, Texas, in my home office. And that's Buddy Franklin down there, doing great.
He is paid too much. That's all he does.
Look, he's been working hard.
Yeah, I know. His eyes are open. That's huge for him.
I know.
Somewhere over in Ireland, we've got Joseph Cunningham, who's either working from the Trinity College Library or from his folks' house, where he's taking a little breather while we can.
Hey, by the way, I think we did our introductions too soon because we only had 3 viewers a second ago. Now we've got 19, so we might need to do that over again.
I think that could be one for the archives, everybody. Let me finish off those introductions. This is the Peak Design team in the Peak Design office here. So what do you say? We had 3 viewers, but all those questions on the right-hand side, that's incredible. You guys
the questions were put in beforehand.
I see. I see.
Really
this is my first telegraph call, so forgive me if I make some errors here. But Joey Cunningham's in Ireland. He is also one of our designers here. Does a lot of the work on packaging and everything. And Luke Roberts is coming to us from Oxford, England, our head of global sales. So that's about everybody. That's about all we got for now. We'll see. Great squad, though. And we are very pleased to be in front of all you guys. Very excited about this Kickstarter. It seems to have a ton of momentum right now, and I think that is indeed due to the fact that we finally got our media units out there that we can hand out to the folks that we've come to know throughout the blogosphere and general photography world of the past 4 years of making camera gizmos. So the products are here. They look absolutely fantastic. I just got back from about 35 days of travel. We were doing an event with Arc'teryx in France, and then I had a bunch of weddings to attend and things like this. So I've been out of the office for a long time. And when I came back, to see these packaged products exactly the way we designed them in 3 dimensions and be able to touch and feel them is just incredible. Blown away, really, by how great they turned out. So, yeah, I think all good things here on this Monday from Peak Design headquarters. Shall we get to the questions? Yeah, there's a lot there. So let's see here. Adam, why don't you moderate?
Of this newfangled question and answer Google Hangout on air.
Could have got you that.
Oh, I lost you. You still there? Am I frozen or are you frozen? All right, looks like we lost the Peak Design team. We'll try to get them back real quick just by adding them on here. One second. So for those of you who are currently watching, the basic format of this is that on the Hangout page, in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, you'll see a Q&A button. You can click that button and you can post whatever question you want. And it also appears that you can actually vote up or down, or at least vote up, people's questions. And then on our side, we have a list of all the questions here. We'll go from question to question and just get through as many of them as we possibly can. We've got an hour. If we can't get through all of them, we'll send you guys an update with answers to the rest of them. But it looks like the Peak Design HQ is having a little bit of technical difficulty with the might have been their internet connection that temporarily went out. So we'll try to get them back online real fast. Until then, that's Buddy Franklin. He's my dog. He's just taking care of business today. Alrighty. Hold tight, folks. Hold tight.
Hey guys, sorry.
How embarrassing.
Hey, there we go.
All right. Adam, hey buddy. Hope you're able to well during the outage there.
Did you break the internet?
We thought dial-up was the better way to go here, and it just might have been a miscount. So we connected to the now, and now honestly, Comcast shuts us off around 1:10 every day. We don't know why. I'm sure we pay extra for it. Okay, so Adam, why don't you tell us where we were at there, pal?
I just kind of briefly went over the format of this thing, and I think we're ready to just start hammering through some questions here.
Let's do that. You moderate, and we'll throw some answers at you.
All right. So. Whoop. All right. Oh, that's cool. So I can select which question we're answering, and it will show up at the top of the Hangout here. So the first question we have from Daniel Ninehuis. Ninehuis?
We got a big picture.
I'm going to go with Ninehuis. Does clutch work well with smaller cameras? I'm curious about trying it with mirrorless cameras like an NEX, a GH4, or an EOS M.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll answer that. Basically, hand straps don't work very well with cameras that don't have a grip. So EOS M, like for example, in the office we have an EX1, Fuji EX1, sorry, XE1, and it doesn't have any sort of a grip portion on the camera, so there's really no surface, and we can share a Flickr link for that. There's really just no surface to sort of clamp your hand down to. So the camera move around, and it's not very stable. And NEX has a little bit better grip, so we haven't actually tried it on an that might work a little bit better, but I would imagine something like a GH4 would work very well with.
And you know, there's another point you brought up. Comparing to other hand straps is an important thing to do here. And the fact that ours get a really good cinch, it's going to work about as opposite. Again, it relates to just using the camera without grip.
Hey guys, your audio just cut out. Okay, I can hear you again.
Did it cut out during the explanation?
Yes, there it is. You're back.
Okay. Wonderful. Did our answer come through?
I think your answer came through for the most part. To paraphrase.
Right. So was Daniel's question answered?
I believe so. long story short, smaller cameras don't have as much of a grip, which makes it a little more difficult to effectively use a hand strap, any sort of hand strap. However, I did show on my screen here, I'll screen share it again, it is certainly possible to attach clutch to smaller cameras, provided that there is some sort of strap loop or triangle ring to loop it through.
Cool.
All right. On to the next one.
Okay.
From Chris Brown.
Let's keep moving down the line. Yep.
The Capture Clip V2 features accessory loops. What are you planning on using those with? And when can I buy it?
Can we just answer the second part of that question? No, okay. So just so we're clear, Capture V2 was our last Kickstarter project. You are potentially talking about the. Oh, you're talking about that?
Is that what
I don't think
you're
so,
talking
dude.
about?
I assume so.
So I think what he's talking about here is if you take your capture unit as it is, and then you flip your back plate over, it exposes some attachment points. I think you can see that with a nice background there better. These are perfect for attaching anchors to. And we have plans for, basically when we designed Capture V2, we wanted to offer as much future-forward compatibility as possible. And since we have these anchor connection system that connects to any loop, we wanted to have attachment points on Capture itself. Currently, you can absolutely use them. I know, like with leash, if you're using leash as a safety tether, and you don't have a good gear loop on your bag, and you want to attach it to your bag when you're using Capture, you can absolutely flip your Capture plate over and then feed an anchor onto one of these accessory loops here, just like that.
Cool.
Excellent. We'll go on to the next one here. From Jeffrey Liu, if we have a battery grip, how will the slide be attached to the camera and still be able to shoot the camera in portrait and landscape position?
Well, so I think that this has clutch on it right now. But all right, imagine this is your camera, and we don't have clutch on there. I'll just take that off real quick. Okay, so clutch is, you're going to have slide, and it's going to attach right here. Obviously, you're going to have a battery grip on, so extend this down on the bottom. But the shooter for a battery grip camera is on the kind of the upper half of that. So you're going to grab right here and still have your access to shooting. The strap is going to project out here and then connect again up on the left strap lug. So in the same way, it's basically you're going to be affected by the anchorage about the same way that you're affected by a regular tripod plate. So long as you are comfortable using a tripod plate on your gripped camera, slide should work just the same way.
Two other options actually, because slide can attach anywhere. You actually have two other options in that scenario. You could attach to your standard camera strap lugs up here and totally avoid the tripod plate connection entirely, or you could do two anchors onto one side of the camera. So very easy to find a comfortable setup there.
Yep. Cool.
Excellent. On to the next one here.
Thomas. Mr. Scheimer.
Thomas. Yep, Thomas Scheimer.
Oh, he's been around since the get-go. Thomas has always been a great and active participant. Thanks for asking your question today. And it's good to see you on the comment board. I always enjoy it. Good, thoughtful discussion. The question is, how easy is it to switch on the Pro Plate, which Pete has in his hand here, from Manfrotto to Arca. And the question, okay, so recall that basically, with the new Pro Plate,
what you're doing is you're taking the plate, which is otherwise the four-way ARCA plate, and you're turning it in to a dual plate, basically. And although it's certainly not something that takes that long, there are 4 screws, and it comes with a little hex key to make that thing work. But the intention is certainly that you're going to put, if you happen to be a Manfrotto user, you are going to put these things on probably just one time. Someone had asked about the Loctite that we're going to put on there. We're putting on, to be clear, we're putting on purple Loctite, which is, excuse me, Nylock. We actually switched that to a Nylock affixment for extra snugness when those bolts go in there. The way those work is not a permanent attachment, but what it does is it reduces the possibility that they could come out from vibratory issues during the lifetime of its use. So really, it's a one-time use. I don't know. Answer, I guess, to your very specific question, Thomas, is as quickly as you can unscrew 4 small screws. But again, we don't plan on you doing that very often.
And I think it's worth also noting that when you have the 2 Manfrotto RC2 adapters attached to the new Pro plate, that plate is still ARCA compatible.
Correct.
It's ARCA and Manfrotto RC2 compatible with the adapters on. With the adapters off, it's 4-way ARCA compatible.
Yep. Basically, you're like, exactly. That's a clearer way of saying you're taking an ARCA plate and turning it into one of our current dual plates, which work in both.
Yeah. Cool. So the next question is very similar. From Jim McCourt, can you better explain the plate? I have a Manfrotto head, which I'm planning on using with this. Pretty sure that the standard plate won't fit in my ball head. Do I have to pay extra for a plate that fits?
Yeah. Okay. So, and Jim, yeah, just so we're clear on how it works, this is the Pro plate, and it has room for these adapters right here. The standard plate. Do we have a free-floating one? Let's get a free. There we go.
Here's a standard plate.
This is a well-used standard plate that's been on the bottom of my camera for quite some time, and you can see the bottoms of these are very, very similar. What's not similar are the sides. On the standard plate, there is not a there's no overhang, and there's no ability to attach these adapters, which are die-cast aluminum adapters, and they come with the Pro plate. And just to be double clear, so here's an RC2 head. You're going to put this into your plate and snap it closed. It's got the same angle, so it works just the way that gray RC2 plate that you likely have already works. Now, in answering your question about buying additional products to get things to work, if you have Peak Design products in the past, a capture, then, and if you were an RC2 user, then you probably purchased a dual plate already. And that means that when you get your slide or clutch, which will only come with the standard plate, you will keep your dual plate. You'll attach an anchor to it. There's places to attach anchors to. So that means that you will have an extra standard plate, which may be useful for you in putting it on 70 to 200 lens, or a set of a spotting scope, or something that has another threaded connection. But you may end up just having this thing be extra. I know that is potentially slightly bothersome to some people. I never like receiving extra things or feeling like I had to pay extra to do that. But I want to make sure that we considered this issue greatly. And the deal was that initially when we made clutch, and then also when we made slide, instead of providing a standard plate with that, we were going to provide the Pro Drive screw, which just gave an option for attaching an anchor on the bottom of your camera, because it really is a superior thing to have the attachment go to the bottom of your camera for slide, and it's of course necessary for clutch. We decided rather last minute, you know what, let's just work on standard plate and get it so that we can just throw those in there basically with the product. Now this is a die-cast plate. It's significantly cheaper for us to produce than is an all-machined Pro plate. It's a different type of aluminum, and it's an entirely different manufacturing process. These things go into a mold, and press it together, and 8 of them come out at a time. It's magic. With the Pro Plate, every single one of them starts from a block of aluminum, and we carve it out. Very much more, a much more pricey affair. Plus that, then we've got to tap the unit to provide these holes for the anchorage. So this is a long-winded explanation of saying that yes, if you're an RC2 user and you don't previously have a dual plate from before, you will need to purchase one of the new Pro Plates if you want to go directly from using. Wonderfully, you can use actually clutch, slide, capture, and your tripod all at one time, and with your RC2 tripod. The Pro Plate is a fantastic product that gives fantastic compatibility for a large swath of Manfrotto users out there, but it's not something that we could, from a cost perspective, be able to insert right into the package. I know that's a little bit vexing for a lot of the users out there, and trust me, we've heard it and discussed it in great detail. But that's kind of where things are at right now. So yes, the other Pro Plates are available for $25 through this Kickstarter.
Cool. And note that $25 price is cheaper than we plan on ultimately retailing them for, too.
Yeah. The Pro Plate, do we have a packaged Pro Plate here, guys? Like, it's a real product in and of itself. I think that you could have a business of selling camera gear expressly around the Pro Plate. It's awesome. It's worth every bit of the $30 that it is. Other plates, I remember when I was researching the original capture and I went to buy an ARCA-compatible plate at Keeble and Shuckett down in Palo Alto, it cost me $50 for a machined aluminum plate. These at $30 with the compatibility of working with Manfrotto tripods. Again, one man's opinion, but it's worth every penny.
All right, sweet. Let's keep moving down the list here.
Sure.
Let's see. From Bill Staney. The new design looks great for weight distribution. I use a pretty heavy Canon 5D Mark III. Is there padding on the neck portion, and what kind of material is it? I assume this is a question about slides specifically.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll kind of go through the anatomy of slide. Maybe that's a good point to do it. On the end, we've got our anchor link connection system here. And these are, just so everyone knows, these are updated sort of version 2 housings and springs. They have a much more, I'll give you an audio, a much more positive click, and are just highly refined overall. And then that leads into a leather and leather binding with a really nice bar tack stitch here, so you're not going to have any unraveling threads over time. And then we've got glass-filled nylon hardware. And then the webbing is all tubular seatbelt webbing. It's custom spec for us to be as slippery and gushy and comfortable and long-lasting as possible. Went through about 30 different samples of webbing to get the right mix down. And then we go into our doubler hardware here, which is glass-filled nylon resin. We've got an anodized aluminum pole, and that's what allows you to do the quick adjust action. And those are all held in place with anodized aluminum screws. And then comes the padded portion. And what essentially happens here is without any seams or any stitching or transitions or ugly kind of pads that fit over the strap, we've gone from the tubular webbing, which behaves just as a single layer webbing, into the padded portion. The padded portion being here, and that's 4mm thick EVA pad. So it's just we feel like it's the right mix of being nice and slim and low profile, and distributing the weight, and being nice and soft and comfortable. And that has the grip portion on top, so that you can flip it over and use it either as a neck strap or a shoulder strap. So.
Yep. And in case you wanted a very specific answer to your question, it's 25 durometer EVA foam.
Right.
Is what we've selected.
And it's about 14 inches long. That's the padded part of the strap. You can't really see where it transitions from padded to non-padded, but the pad is that long.
That's the end here.
So.
25 whole durometers, huh?
Yeah. 25 full durometers.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
We'll put that in our marketing. All right. On to the next question. With the success of the Kickstarter campaign, will this move the production and shipment date ahead of schedule?
No. It's going to let us do it exactly on schedule, actually. This being our 4th Kickstarter campaign, we went into this campaign with some very hopeful assumptions that we were going to have a campaign which followed almost exactly the trajectory that it's on. And I don't want to make that seem like we had some kind of expectation of a huge Kickstarter campaign, but the fact of the matter is we've got an extremely dedicated following of folks exactly like you who are on this Hangout right now. And we've got a certain number of email addresses, and we made a product that we felt really confident was at the very top of its game with respect to the categories that it's in. So we made those predictions, and we released the purchase orders for Slide and Clutch a long time ago in order to get them on that 7-month cycle of production so that they can be ready for shipment in October. So it's kind of funny, even before you guys press play on that first video, everything with respect to production was already signed off on. And I think kind of something that people don't realize is that means that it was really a combination of the funding that we got from the Capture version 2 Kickstarter campaign, in addition to about a $500,000 loan that we've had to take in order to pay for the production of Slide and Clutch up front. And the reason for that, even though we could have produced that video, during the prototype stage, but the whole reason behind that is that we have found that going very quickly from this incredible Kickstarter period to one where we are able to ship and fulfill the products and then get our wholesale customers on board and be ready to hit the ground running with trade shows, we're able to preserve that momentum. And that has been, I think, the biggest key to the success of Peak Design throughout these years. So, again, in answer to your question, no, it won't kick anything forward. Rather, it has allowed us to verify the predictions that we made, and thank God, be able to pay back the bank and be ready to preserve all this momentum and hopefully have a wonderful Christmas holiday season.
I'll add on to that just note that the guy standing next to Peter, who's also named Peter, the guy with the capture on his camera on his backpack strap, that's Peter Lockett. He has been managing our supply chain you've been on the team for a year, right?
Yeah, just over a year.
And he has basically done wonders with building out a supply chain that we are confident in terms of our ability to deliver a certain amount of stuff at a certain amount of time. So that is something that we have with this project. Obviously, we've kind of made incremental improvements to our company and how we do our processes for each Kickstarter project, but this Kickstarter project in particular, I think we're more confident than ever that we will hit our delivery deadlines, when we ultimately do send stuff out, and won't have to send you guys emails and say, oh, hey, this is taking longer than expected. Obviously, fingers crossed. I don't want to be the guy.
It still might happen, but
it's super easy when you're the marketing guy to say all this stuff, right? Because I don't have to deal with any of it.
Yeah, until you're going to be the one to explain that it didn't happen the way we thought it was going to.
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
Adam, it's nice for you to say it's been a real team effort to get us where we are today, and if things go right, we're hoping to get product in customers' hands with top quality sooner than we ever have before.
Right. And a hats off to our Chinese partners now in 2 parts of that country, in Wuxi, which is west of Shanghai, and as well as the surrounding areas of Dongguan and Shenzhen. We've been fortunate to meet really, really wonderful, incredibly hardworking people who are very committed to
be making our products. I think one thing that's really cool and unique is that they get to see this stuff too. They get to see the Kickstarter campaigns and get excited about it. They're not making things for a nameless, faceless organization. We're the dudes who go over there and give them high fives and work together towards building these products. So, I mean, without a doubt, our hugest partners are our manufacturers.
And just to make it clear, Peter said we had, before the Kickstarter campaign, we had purchase orders released. That's not to say that we had all the products sitting in a warehouse. That's definitely not been the case. It's just that we had established our relationships with our manufacturers, and they knew that we were going to be producing these. The design, has definitely been in process the entire time of this Kickstarter, and we've been refining things, and thanks to you, we've settled on a grip design, and thanks to you guys, we've been able to kind of steer the direction and get our quantities nailed down and kind of make the whole thing happen.
Yep.
Awesome. Great question, Chad. On to the next one from Matt Prokosh. Can you show us clutch with capture attached to a backpack strap on a 6'3" muscular bullet?
Well, I'll stand on my tiptoes to make 6'3". But
I think maybe we should put one on Dave also to show the contrast.
We've got this is a Nikon D600. I've got clutch on this side, and it works very well in order to pop off, be able to slide on your hand strap and cinch down, clips in very easily, just as all the capture products do, and it works really well. It's really nice to have something that stays on your camera, that's easy to get your hand in, and give you a great secure feeling while shooting without a strap.
Right on.
Sweet. Thank you, Matt. There's some good questions coming up here.
Oh, good.
From Thomas. Does Peter D have a Peak Design tattoo yet? If not, where is that reward level?
Let me bring the camera to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back, guys. I do not. And contrary to popular belief, I don't walk around with a Peak Design shirt every day. On Sundays, I like to wear a Hawaiian shirt.
Sure, absolutely. Let's see. Do we have a more specific ship date other than October for clutch? This is also from Matt.
Hopefully before October.
Yeah. The long story short is we don't have specific ship dates on any specific one of our products. We plan on being able to ship all of them at the same time, not having to sort of wait for specific products to become ready. And the ship dates that we provided this time were more of a ship by date than a starting to ship date. So and the guys on the other screen are the ones that are best suited to answer this, but we still feel very confident that we're going to ship everything by October at the latest.
And it's not an exact science, because there's a lot of dominoes that need to fall in order for that to happen. But everything's lined up to fulfill this campaign as soon as possible. So barring any unforeseen conditions, we should have a very predictable fulfillment.
Cool. All right. From Nicholas Abrahamson. Do you have any favorite bags that you feel are exceptionally well designed to fit Capture Pro? Messenger bags or backpacks?
I think that every single one of us would probably answer that question differently. F-stop gear has a lot of bags that, honestly, it doesn't really have to do for me with how well it works with capture. Backpacks are backpacks in a lot of ways, as long as it's got, in my opinion, something with 3 straps, that is, or at least a chest strap. As long as it's got a chest strap, like that one right there, that allows you to get into the bags that work great with capture. And beyond that, though, they all work great, and that's kind of the point. And I'm not just saying that in order to say that, hey, all bags work with capture. They really do. And I think that's kind of one of the reasons we've been approached by a lot of bag companies to team up with them and say, hey, let's build a bag that's perfect for capture. And it's kind of like, we already built capture to be perfect with your bag. And so, and they kind of look at the product and how it's used, and there's, yeah, you're right, okay, well, there's not really much of a product to be had there. So, I don't know. That's kind of where I weigh on the issue. Art wants to say something. So.
Oh, I mean, as Pete said, we're all bag guys here, and we all have very strong opinions on what the best way to carry your gear around is. And I mean, I don't really have a specific recommendation. Pete's wearing a chrome Nico camera bag right here. Adam's got an f-stop bag. I mean, there's a lot of people who make great stuff out there. So.
I think the one thing I would say in terms of how it fits on bags is it's meant to fit on a wide strap like Adam's got. It's meant to fit on a narrow strap like I've got on here. But the common error we do see is where capture might be mounted a little bit too low, where it's kind of down in your armpit. And so captures, I find it to work much better if it's closer to the top of my shoulder, where the lens is actually hanging straight down, opposed to pointing backwards.
Yeah.
And that's the great thing about captures. It can be put on so many different ways on different bodies and geometries that you really have to kind of customize your setup for whatever your creature comforts are.
Yep. That is the best advice, and it's better than what we tried to do in the past. We tried to think that there was maybe a specific way that it should be worn. Really, it should be tried. It takes experimentation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But Nicholas, I'm a huge bag nerd, so if you want to talk out in line about what your favorite bags are and stuff,
actually, no. Nicholas is busy. He has many other things to do. No.
How about Carryology?
Yeah, maybe on the weekends.
Yeah, there's some really great bag blogs. Carryology is awesome if you want to nerd out on bags all day and get into that. It's pretty fun.
Well, I've actually blocked that website from Art's computer.
All right, see what you blocked from my computer, Pete. Let's go to the next one.
PD launching another Kickstarter this year.
Yeah, will PD be launching another Kickstarter this year? If so, will it be a brand new product or some cool accessories for the capture clip that will extend its range of use? From Claire Bampton.
No, Claire. One is enough for a year, and one is enough for a couple of reasons. They're an extraordinary amount of work, and the rest of our work doesn't cease. Don't get me wrong. We're very, very happy to do it. It's almost like a holiday around the office, but in the same way that, come the end of December and after New Year's, you're like kind of glad that's done, and you need to get back to business as usual so you can move things forward. Kickstarters are a really, really big deal. I guess the other reason is that we don't want to induce Kickstarter fatigue. We don't want to bring things out. We're only going to intend to do Kickstarters when it's a big enough deal, when it's something where we're using it to advance our business forward. We definitely have more products slated, and most of them are going to be, I think we'll do more Kickstarters in the future. But we have a number of smaller products that are going to kind of continue to augment the suite of products we currently have in the coming months. It won't be launched on Kickstarter just because we can't. We got to space it out. But I like these summer Kickstarters. They feel pretty good.
We also don't want to do a Kickstarter because it delays the delivery of some product if we've been already able to get it ready, and maybe some of our new products will be ready for the holiday. So definitely something to keep checking back in with Peak Design on, and the more we know and when they'll come out, we'll make sure to announce that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Sweet. You got an itchy ear, Pete?
I'm just a fidgety guy, Adam. Was I going inside? I think I was on top, right?
I don't know. I've seen you've been all over it. Just saying.
All right.
What are the main improvements since Capture V1, which I use? Bill Stanny. Capture V1 user, an OG Capture user, wants to know what are the main improvements since Capture V1 to the current model. What improvements will I see when I upgrade? So thank you, Bill, for it sounds like you may or may not have been backing a reward that includes the new Capture Pro, which is awesome.
Adam, why don't you take a crack at this one?
Sure. The main improvements you're going to see are, I tell you what, let me get an old one and a new one.
While he's doing that, I'll say that the main improvements are, I think the best word to sum it up is smoothness. And that means smoothness in the actual product. It's very much more friendly to the touch. Capture V1 is full of sharp points here and there that make the product a little bit uncomfortable to use, I think. I mean, we used to file them down in the office to make things better. And then the other thing of smoothness has to do with the mechanics. This mechanism right here on the V1 was completely redesigned. It now has two springs, kind of independently tuned to receive things, and just the way that the plates go in there, enter the device is a much cleaner, better feeling mechanism. Capture version 1 tended to get jammed a fair amount. And then the other thing is on V1, you can see here, this one has lost its twist lock, just like about 99% of them that ever went out the door, because there was no retaining feature on that set screw. And we changed that from a set screw to a clamping block, which moves over. And that clamping block allows you to stably set a plate in the Capture chassis. And that's great because it allows you to turn Capture into a shooting platform now for point-of-view cameras, for GoPros, small cameras, things like that. There's also a new safety mechanism on V2. It's a version 2 product. It's just been upgraded in every way possible.
Another main difference is that you can see on the original unit has a solid back. The new unit, if you get the Capture Pro model, has a back with this sort of spidery design in it. That design gives you a little bit more grip on a strap to keep it from slipping. Also, you can see that hole in the middle. The unit itself can be placed atop of a ball head or a tripod head and used itself as a tripod head. And the other big difference is that Capture, the new version of Capture, you can get two versions. There's Capture Standard, Capture Pro. This is Capture Pro here. Capture Standard, the die-cast aluminum backplate is replaced with a glass-filled nylon backplate, making it a little bit lighter and a little bit more affordable as well, but still every bit as strong.
Cool. Thanks, Adam. Any good ways to mount a lens cap on the slide? I think it's an appropriate time to give a little shout out to the folks over at Hufa. That's H-U with an umlaut, I believe, F-A. And someone else on the board hopefully is gonna mention there's another Kickstarter project which may have just gotten funding that also kind of had a clever way of retaining camera lens on a strap, I believe.
A magnet.
I think that every day in the office we probably get someone writing us an email saying, please design a way to handle my lens cap. And so far we've resisted that urge. Not because it obviously is a problem that is worth solving in many ways, and there is debate here. I think that we just have a lineup of products that are more becoming of peak design in terms of what we like to do. When we were giving our clinic at the Alpine Academy mountaineering event in France, in the Alps there, someone asked the same question, and as a photographer, my suggestion is to throw away the lens cap, get yourself a decent UV filter, and make sure that you use your hood at all times on your lens. And I've heard a lot of pros and hobbyists with that same attitude. It just keeps you at the ready, one less thing to putz with. And you know, in many years of shooting, I've cracked a few UV lenses, but it's got nothing to do with something coming in there and hitting it, more like crashing my motorcycle and having a camera swinging around my neck before Capture was invented. So, in any case, that's where we stand on that for now.
I think we need to go back to the 35mm cameras with the little thing that you slide to get the lens open?
I
think we need to do that. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I've never even used one.
I'm the marketing guy. All right. Next question from Alan Bailward. Can we see if it hasn't been shown yet? I'm sorry I'm late to the party. It's okay, Alan. The party just got started. The hand and shoulder strap connected at once so I can see how I'll ditch my hand strap plus rapid strap.
All right, that's what we want.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can see here on my plate, I have 2 anchors. There are 4 connection loops on all of the new plates that we're doing, and all of our old plates still have the hand strap connections, so you can do this as well. But I have the clutch coming off here to the right, my right, and then the slide coming off the back here and to the left side of the camera. So it's essentially 3 connection points, and that gives me a really I'm using the slide exactly. Yeah, sorry, I'm too short. I'm using the slide, using the slide exactly like I would. I still have full functionality to loosen it and tighten it, and then for the extra support, which is very nice actually. The hand strap, even though I don't necessarily need the drop protection right now, it's nice to be able to kind of rely on the strap a little bit. Rather than your fingers, and let that do a little bit of the work, and then yeah. So that's how it looks. There are a variety of ways to set that up. Obviously, I could do this kind of. There's certain ways that I wouldn't be able to go into capture because I have the 2 anchors. So I could also do 2 anchors on the left side of the camera, or more of a traditional neck strap situation as well. So lots of different options.
Or turn your plate 90 degrees.
Yeah, or you can turn the plate 90 degrees depending on which way you're using capture or which way you want to go into your tripods, but still have full functionality across the board there. So.
Cool.
All right. From Matthew Brown, having run 3 successful Kickstarter campaigns, what sort of advice would you give to people looking to launch their own ideas for the first time? What worked well? What are the biggest hurdles that you've overcome? This is a question that we get a lot of, and the longer answer to that question is something that we can actually send out after this. We have a few different sort of resources that we've gone to, or articles that have been written about Peter that kind of explain how our philosophy with Kickstarter. But the few things that I would say is, number 1 is that as soon as you launch that campaign, from the moment it starts to the moment it stops, just pay attention to it as much as you can, stay on top of it, answer every question, listen to every piece of feedback, provide as much updates and content as you possibly can, do this kind of stuff, talk to your backers, and really just, you can never put a Kickstarter campaign on autopilot. You have to be there listening and just keeping your finger on the pulse of it the whole time.
And Matthew, if I had to pick one, it is a much longer discussion, and I have written about it a lot and spoke about it a lot. I think if I had to pick one thing and say what's the most difficult thing to overcome, I don't know if overcoming is the right thing, but the biggest key to having a successful product is to have a great understanding of the problem it is that you're trying to solve, and kind of the size of the problem, and because if you can correctly identify that, then you get a pretty good idea about how big the market is for the solution of that problem. So that's the most important thing. Try to identify a great problem. Then you can work on trying to solve it in a great way. Then you can work on telling people how you did that, and then that's a business. That's entrepreneurship in and of itself. But really try to focus on that problem and make sure you understand it.
Right.
And I would say that as a company that's had multiple successful Kickstarter campaigns, we're quite lucky, because ever since our first Kickstarter campaign, Capture V1, which again harkens back to what Pete just said about really understanding a problem and who faces it. Since then, all of our Kickstarter campaigns have been, the products that we've launched have in many ways been driven by people who have previously backed us on Kickstarter. So every time we come back to this community, we already have a lot of folks here, many of whom have given us the initial feedback which led into the new products that we're creating. And so I guess still it's just an elaboration on the point that Pete just made, is listening to and understanding the problem and the people that have that problem that you're trying to solve.
Right. Cool. Thanks. Always a fun question for us to answer.
All right. An L bracket question here. Have you done any integration with a Really Right Stuff type L bracket to allow the use of a ball head and your quick connects?
Man. No, we haven't. So somebody else can answer that.
Well, yeah.
I haven't talked to the guys at Really Right Stuff in about a year and a half. Same thing with Kirk and Wimberly. Just kind of got busy and dropped the thread there. I still think that there is ample opportunity for one of those companies or another company to come on in and start doing L brackets that are custom. I mean, we've toyed around with the idea of like, all right, should we start making our own L brackets? And I think the answer to that is no, just because that's not where we. I don't think that's where we shine. Those companies, they're making a very small, a relatively small volume of products. There aren't that many customers out there who use L brackets. There certainly are, and they tend to be a very sophisticated customer. And as such, you probably see an over kind of a highly inflated number of Peak Design users who want that L bracket functionality. But it's just to keep up with, to be held, to have the design be kind of at the behest of camera makers and have to react to what they do each time. That sort of goes against our core competencies, really. And that's why we haven't attacked that problem. I still say, if there's enough force from the Really Right Stuff communities, or the Kirk, or the Wimberly, or one of these other companies making L brackets, custom brackets, maybe. If there is a tidal force that goes into their customer service stream and says, "Hey, start making your stuff compatible with Peak Design," I think that they could listen, and I think that the degree of modification that would be required is very, very minor. Whether that comes from us reaching out to them reaching out to us, or a pool of customers saying, "Hey guys, let's get this thing done," I do hope that it happens one day, because there's just, at current, no solution for someone who insists on having an L bracket.
Well, I wouldn't say that's entirely true.
Yeah, except for...
Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
There are a number of L bracket users who have been able to successfully couple one of our plates onto the auxiliary tripod mounting hole found on their L bracket and still use it effectively.
Yeah.
And the vast majority of L brackets do have that hole.
Right.
So it just comes down to it. At that point you're doing your plate stacking, and generally that's something that people try and avoid. For a number of reasons, number one being that it just becomes kind of awkward at a certain point because you're stacking so much gear on your camera. But we have seen a number of people who do make it work. But
a very good point.
All right. From Asaf Sagi, I just came back from a 2-week trip with Capture Pro V2 on my hip during the trip. At times I found myself uncomfortable because the screws poked my skin and sometimes loosened over prolonged use. Do you have a solution to that?
I came back from a similar trip, actually, and occasionally I will find that after prolonged use, I'm like, what's going on down here? And I'll find that it's kind of irritating me a little bit, and that happens when I don't have a a shirt that goes over it or anything like that. And generally speaking, it's because I've been too careless when putting capture on. I've let it kind of creep up a little bit. It gets a little bit high on my belt and things like that. And another thing is I have always advocated that the hip is a pretty tough place to wear capture. I recommend more towards the middle of the body. I find that to be a better location for the capture. I think the camera situates itself better, is more accessible, and isn't going to bump into stuff that's on the side of you. The other thing is the Pro Pad. The Pro Pad is made pretty expressly for this purpose of getting capture lower down on your body, away from the midsection. You know, all of us have somewhat of a gut, especially when we're leaning over, and that's gonna end up impeding on capture when it's worn purely with the belt. You won't have that situation with the Pro Pad. So I guess to your last question, do you have a solution to that? Yes, it's the Pro Pad. I don't know why I like to talk so much, but that was easy.
You're good at talking. You're good at it.
One thing I'll say too is when I use capture, a lot of times, I mean, my camera's pretty heavy, and after a while, having a lot of weight in one spot in any situation is never a good thing. So I actually move my capture around quite a bit. I just did a hiking trip, and I had my capture on my left strap for 4 or 5 hours while we were going up, and then for the latter half of the day, I'd switch it over to the right strap. The ergonomics aren't quite as good to get it out of the clip, but it still works and kind of, moves the weight around on my shoulders and stuff just to keep it fresh. So.
Yep.
All right. It is 3:58, 3:59 p.m. Let's try to roll through as many questions as we can. I believe this meeting can go a little bit over, but I'm sure folks may have to drop up if they have prior commitments. And some of us will have to get back to work as well. So let's just start doing some rapid fire.
Great.
Just brought the Capture Pro and trying to understand the black knob. Is that a safety lock? I've tightened it, and I'm still able to remove the clip. Am I doing something wrong? Quick answer to that is that it is not actually a safety lock. The safety lock is this little thing on the red button. When you turn this, you can no longer press the red button, and your plate will not be able to come out. What this is, the black knob, is we call that the plate lock. And as you can see there, it presses this slab of metal into the plate. And the time that you use the plate lock is, there's 2 scenarios when you use it. One is when you're using Capture Pro as a tripod itself, and you have your camera attached into the unit. You tighten down that knob, and it prevents your camera from jiggling. It prevents it from jiggling, so it acts as a stabilizer.
Adam, I don't want people to start thinking you're a hypocrite talking about blowing through questions and answers and then go through that. I'll cut you off right there. And but yeah, it's a stabilizer. Next question is about the micro. I haven't tried it or seen it in action. Here it is in the unit. It's still gonna jiggle-fy, as Adam put it, just as much as any other plate, which is to say, not that much. And then, just like the other plates, you can use this knob to tighten it down. We put it here on one of the Kickstarter naked units just so you can see it better in action there. Okay. Are there any mounting limitations orientation-wise of the capture with the Pro Plate and Manfrotto adapter, since it then becomes two-way, e.g. mounting to a belt? Yes, absolutely. We've actually got some great videos, some FAQs on this that show exactly what you should kind of do for the scenario that you're talking about. Just like the microplate and just like the dual plate, it makes it two-way compatible. That means that it can only, whoops, just done the plate lock. It can only come in like that. And so that means that on your belt, you have 2 options. One, rotate your plate 90 degrees so that you can then side load, or put capture at an angle. I actually really like this solution a lot, and then your camera is going to come in at an angle as well. On our website, you can get to a nice little video. It's like minute 109 of the dealer instructional video. You'll figure it out. It's on the FAQs. Thank you, Doe.
All right.
What's up next, Adam?
Will the slide clutch plate be compatible with Manfrotto tripod heads? In brief, no, not out of the box. You would have to use a Peak Design dual plate or the new Pro plate if you want Manfrotto RC2 compatibility, and that's the new Pro plate that's being held right there.
Yeah. Temperature, is that a concern, is what the gentleman from Sweden is asking. I know it gets really hot in Sweden, and so you don't want things to melt. That's not going to be a problem, nor will it be a problem if you're in extreme environments. Obviously, there is, anytime you get into really cold areas, plastics in particular, and metals are more susceptible to a brittle nature, but we're working well within the bounds of what these materials can take in slide and clutch and in capture. So no temperature concerns there.
Already done this one.
Yep. No more specific time than October for shipping. Micro Four Thirds, currently have got the cuff attached to the camera. It's a great product, but I was wondering if you plan to make products for this range of cameras with the increased popularity of the systems. Well, Sam, I think we would argue that these products are designed with Micro Four Thirds, with Sony NEX and these style cameras in mind. We think that our products, in fact, in many cases, work even better with cameras of this size, simply because they don't have the kind of weight that's associated with a big, heavy DSLR. And so any camera that's too big to work for your pocket, that's what we're designing for. Our cameras, yes, they are big enough to accommodate, or excuse me, our products are big enough to accommodate huge cameras, but they work great with smaller ones as well. I think Art wants to comment on that.
Oh, well, I mean, if you look at our current line, Capture obviously works great with Micro Four Thirds. I had a Panasonic G5 that I used with Capture and loved it, and I know we've got a lot of NEX users out there. Just in terms of our new strap line, the leash, I think, is a great strap for lighter Micro Four Thirds cameras or mirrorless cameras. But slide, even though it's bigger and it's sort of a more pro-level strap, it is still very minimalist compared to a lot of big, bulky, like Black Rapid Pro kind of straps out there. And it can definitely work really well for a mirrorless camera as well, especially since it has that the quick adjust functionality built in. So.
Sweet. Question from Al Diaz. Al Diaz is on the Pit Design Pro team. What up, Al?
Greetings in Florida.
He's a professional photographer down in Miami. Al wants to know any consideration of creating a harness system attaching two sling straps together when shooting with two cameras.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this the other day. It's not to say that you can't currently use two slings, but you kind of run into the same issues with two sling straps that you do with many other straps, that they can kind of interfere with each other a little bit and get a little bit crossed up versus some like the dedicated full-on harness solutions. So I don't know. I think we'll definitely keep that in mind for future products. We have done quite a bit of discussion about it and stuff.
Let's just show how they go. Oh, sure. So apply one. Actually, to do this correctly, I would probably go on to here. I'll need another anchor then. So we're going to go with the lefty over here. Yeah, putting on a. It's like asking to put on a jacket with the opposite hand first. It's very, very difficult to do. So I've got two here. Grabbing my left one, no problem, because this one is right now on top. So there's no drag there whatsoever. It slides exactly as intended. And with the back one, what you'll find out is that it's got a little bit of a hitch there, which is occasionally going to get caught up, and it's just going to be a little bit cumbersome. So this is, just being honest, it's not the greatest two-camera solution. The greatest two-camera solution right now that we like, at least, is one slide in combination with Capture Pro on a belt. Also, that has the added benefit of keeping the weight of two cameras off of your upper body, which is great for pro shooters.
All right, and for those of you listening in, if you guys are ever at a Miami Dolphins game and you see a guy running around down on the field taking pictures, it's probably Al Diaz.
So the next question here, Adam, has to do with the triangle ring that he sees on my Nikon. And yes, that works great with clutch. This is a Canon that does not have that triangle ring, and clutch is sized to fit with your strap pass-through loops. So on all cameras. So Canons are good to go.
Great.
Hicks.
Adam Hicks. What does Hicks have to say? Why no snapback as modeled by Adam to purchase? He's talking about my hat. It's actually not a snapback. It's a fitted hat.
Fitted. Look at that.
But I actually just took a black hat and put a Pete design sticker on the front of it.
Our merchandising department is a little short right now. We're fortunate to have a V-neck tee, or some people might think we're not. But yeah, we do actually want to get. I mean, just to be marketing for ourselves, we like to wear PD gear. If and when we catch a breather here and can get a little more organized on that, Adam, you'll be the first one to get one, man.
Sweet. We can send you some stickers though to make your own DIY Peak Design hat as well. That is an option for everybody.
Might feel insulting.
It could look as good as this.
A lot of feedback from people who would like the option to get a pro plate instead of a standard plate. Any update? Ron, we kind of had probably about 7, maybe 10 minutes into the discussion. We kind of discussed that one at length. For late joiners in the conversation, I'll try to sum it up, although I would like you to go back there just because we did describe it really at length, and it is a really important point. Basically, originally with slide and clutch, we weren't going to give a plate at all. We were going to give a pro drive screw so that you could attach to it. And so the decision to give people a plate was one where for not that much more cost than that pro drive screw, we could provide the standard plate, and we thought that there was a significant bump up in the in the functioning of the product, and that's why we made that decision. To kind of throw in the pro plate there would be significantly changing of things. And there's been a lot of calls for people to say like, hey, can we just put like, don't give us any standard plates at all, give us one pro plate and we'll pay even a little bit more money. And that would be a great deal. We would certainly take that deal. But with the fact that all these purchase orders have been placed, all of these standard plates are going right into the package for slide and clutch as we speak. It's just simply not possible to kind of swap out the standard plates for the pro plates. And that's the short answer to the question. Again, I elaborated on in greater detail at the beginning of it, but nothing. I don't think that we're going to be offering that. It would just really change our program too much. ProPlate is in and of itself a great product, yeah, that's kind of where we stand.
Sweet. Jake Howe has a question about your feelings.
My feelings, all right. That is a great question. We skipped a few other ones there, which I don't. Oh no, there it is, right there.
How does it feel to make so many other photographers' jobs and hobbies so much more fun and enjoyable?
What a great question.
That's a great question, man.
Jake Howe, I just want to say he does not work for Peak Design. I should say he now works for Peak Design.
Right. We're gonna find a way to get that on the fridge. Man, it feels great. I think it feels great for all of us. There are a lot of things about this job that feels just great, and what can I say, man? I have nothing but positivity coming out of this. So thank you.
Hey, Jake, I just want to jump in here as well. I spend a lot of time doing our supply chain and working with Art and Pete on engineering. But then the other part of my job is to do a lot of the shooting for our gear, and I use our gear to do it. And I feel like I get excited working for Peak Design every time I get to take pictures because it just made it that much easier. So it's nice to hear that.
Tina Etheridge asks, I don't understand what Capture Pro is used for on the Kickstarter page. Can you demo this? What situations would you use Capture Pro as opposed to Slide?
I think we might have to direct her to the Capture version 2 Kickstarter page and or the website. Capture is a tremendous product that allows you to rigidly clip a camera to any strap or belt. It's one way to carry your camera. Slide is another way to carry your camera. Clutch is another way to carry your camera. The fact of the matter is your gear and your situations, your environments they change a lot, and there's a right tool for the right job for every specific situation. I am entirely confident that at some point, if you like carrying a camera, at some point Capture will be a great product for you, like hands down the perfect product. Sometimes Slide will be, and sometimes Clutch will be. So that's probably the best way, I think, to answer that one. Thanks, Tina.
All right. Is the Pro Plate on the website? I only see Arca, Dual, and Micro. The Pro Plate is not yet on our website. It is a new product that will be replacing Arca Plate and Dual Plate. So for the time being, for people purchasing Capture right now off of the Peak Design website, you get one of those plates. At some point after this Kickstarter project has ended, those plate choices will go away and you'll just see Pro Plate. So Kickstarters are the first people to be able to purchase the Pro Plate.
The other Pro Plates are still excellent. They use the same processes as this one does. The main benefit of this is really, it's kind of more for our side of things. We create less confusion by saying this is the Pro Plate and it works for both. No matter what kind of tripod you have, this is the one to get. Right now, with every customer out there, whether it's on our website or at a trade show or in a retail store somewhere, you have to have a conversation like, great, you love the idea about Capture. Now, what kind of a tripod do you use? We'd like to help accommodate it. And it ends up confusing the customers a little bit. So this is our solution to that. So don't feel bashful about getting Capture with the Pro Plate, which is appropriate for you right now. It's still super solid.
Yeah. Nick Humphreys, any way to use Capture with longer Manfrotto video plates? The short answer is no. At the moment, Capture only offers compatibility with Arca type plates and Manfrotto RC2 plates, and we chose those standards because they are the two most widely used tripod standards in the world.
We were hopeful that we were going to be able to create adapters for the 501 and 701 plates. It's geometrically impossible. Unfortunately, we looked at it like crazy because it kind of made us heartsick to think that we wouldn't be able to have that functionality.
Right.
We weren't able to.
As well as Gitso, but I mean, we went through the gamut of other plate options that we wanted to be compatible with. When we came up with the idea of the Pro Plate and adapters, we thought that we had really, I mean, we have hit the nail on the head, but what it comes down to is other companies have so many different variations. Like within 501, there is no standard 501 head. They all interact with the plate differently, and same with Gitso. Gitso itself has, I think, 4 different standards that are branded as Gitso, and it's just, it makes it unfortunately, it makes it impossible for a company like us to accommodate all those different standards. Even within RC2, we see such a crazy amount of variation.
Real quick, there is a solution. There is an answer because we use 501 heads for our video work anytime we want to get a pan or a tilt. And what we have done is we've taken a Capture Pro and mounted it on the top of that. And it works great for us. We happen to have a lot of Capture Pros around the office, though. And so if you don't want to have your $80 Capture Pro in use permanently, there are these Arca adapters, which will screw into your Manfrotto 501 plate. You leave the 501 plate permanently in your 501 head, like so, and then you just come in and out of Capture using the adapter. It's a stacking situation. It adds a little bit more gear. It adds a little bit more height.
So it's not perfect. It's not optimized, but it is what they refer to as a satisficing solution, not an optimizing solution.
And those adapters are real cheap. I think they're 25 bucks.
25 bucks on Amazon Prime. But
if I purchase ProPlate, will it fit in my RC2 compatible Manfrotto tripod?
Totes.
Totes and goats.
Yes.
Yes. There are a few odd RC2s that we're not compatible with, but I'd say 90% of the RC2 heads out there, the ProPlate will work for. Yep.
And definitely the dual plate will.
I've just bought a new battery grip. Will the slide be attached so I can shoot in both landscape and portrait? Oh, we already
handled that question early on. Short answer is yes.
When can we expect to receive these if we ordered the first few Kickstarter days?
October. It doesn't matter about when you ordered during the Kickstarter campaign. Unfortunately, we can't. We just don't have any preferential treatment on it. When we fulfill, we do a binge fulfill. It's going to have more to do with probably filling out your, or maybe a purge is probably the more accurate description of that. Yeah, it's definitely more like throwing up than it is. Anyways, that's okay. That's okay.
You're getting less good at talking.
I know. Hey, someone had asked a quick question that you'd missed. I think it was, will the newest mounting plate work with the original peak clip? Answer is yes.
Cool. What is the shortest length of slide? On about a 5'8" tall person will be holding the camera high enough to be out of the way while walking or biking.
Yes.
Yes.
See the.
Will we be at Photo Plus in the Expo in New York? Yes. You bet. We love New York.
And I believe on the Kickstarter page in the FAQ we have the actual shortest length that slide can achieve.
Yes. Right. You can actually there's a little bit of a hack that we'll go over for the true believers here as well on slides. So I have it adjusted to its shortest length here, but it's actually very easy to adjust it further by feeding the pad through the doubler if you really want it to get short. And that actually works out pretty well. It gets a little bit slightly bulkier than normal because you have the pad running through it. But if you really want it to get short, like you said, you're biking, that's definitely a solution.
Right, and then you can flip it over onto the shoulder grip side, and it's going to have extra grip across your back, so it's not going to want to slide off, because that's what pretty much any other sling strap scenario encounters.
Yeah,
good question. We definitely thought about biking. We like it.
All right, I'm just looking for questions here that we haven't answered yet.
Right, that's our bike rack.
Held by capture.
I like this one. Okay, this was fun. I quit. Well, sorry, we miss you, Alex.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you thought it was fun, though. Curious about weight/security. Do you know how much weight the straps and connectors can support?
I'll answer that as briefly as possible. They'll break at about 200 pounds of force. That would really hurt your back. We'll call it a safe working load of 30 pounds because you can incur impact loads if you're doing something active or anything like that. Right. But it's all really, really strong stuff.
Yeah, I mean, to put that in perspective, the Black Rapid straps, I mean, not to name names, but the Black Rapid straps, they use a Fastex connector, the kind where you push the sides. Those break somewhere between 40 and 80 pounds. So, and it's shocking because they have this big metal hardware on there, but those Fastex buckles are not very strong at all, and they will fail at about half the weight that slide will. So.
Will you continue to produce leash? If so, will you be modifying the leash? Another question from Peak Design Pro Al Diaz.
Interesting. Al, very, very small but great modifications are going into the leash. It namely has to do with on the leash's adjuster, there's a doubler, the adjuster, doubler, whatever you want to call it, And then there's a triangle ring on the back side. That triangle ring was an add-on. That was an afterthought. That's why it's there in the form that it currently is. Basically, we're putting that extra anchor attachment into the adjuster itself, and it all goes on the top side. This means you won't have any slightly annoying situations on the back of your, well, on your back, on the underside of the strap. So it's going to get smoother, just like Slidus.
Cool. And I think it's worth reiterating that we have made some very some fine-tuning to the anchor link attachments that are on the ends of now all of our straps to make those attachments work more smoothly and have a much better feel to them.
Yeah.
And everything will be, of course, reverse compatible too.
I can't wait to get to Reed's. Reed. What are your skills? Oh no, that's Richard. Richard Rostan. Can I come work for you? What's your story, man? Possibly.
Let's see. Will the newest mounting plate work with the original Peak clip? Yes, we've answered that one. Will the new Pro plates have more rounded mounting points for the anchors? I've worn through one anchor already.
Yes. They go through an extra machining step to get an extra chamfer on there. There are no longer any 90-degree bends that it makes. Those things were problematic and just a little bit troublesome towards the old anchors.
From John Simpson, I find myself as a PD addict without enough camera straps for all the products I've backed. Any thoughts on trade-in or resale marketplace?
Yes, someone else thought of it first. It's called eBay, and it does extremely well. But we love your addiction. We consider it a healthy addiction, John, unless you're buying everything on credit, in which case you should probably call the helpline.
From Anthony Morinello. Do you have any better options as a replacement of the triangle spring keyring style loop for connecting the anchors to the camera body?
That is the weak point, but I think that they're still plenty strong to do the job of holding a camera. In fact, just because we don't have any cameras around here that didn't cost us a bunch of money, so we haven't attempted to yank any of those things off. But when you start getting into 40 pounds of force, I mean, 40 pounds is a lot. Imagine that water softener salt bag that you got to bring up from the basement, otherwise your dad yells at you. Like, that thing weighs a lot.
Be a Midwest thing.
That is a Midwest thing, I think. And pretty soon you're going to start getting into damaging of your frame. So even though these straps, our straps are way overbuilt, the points on the frame of the camera are where going to start to be your limiting points. Although I would agree, probably that triangle ring will fail first, but it's a stronger design than the circular ones that used to come with it. So
yeah, the circular ones are the ones that fail. The triangle ones are pretty strong.
Yeah, we found them to be pretty buff. So
Nicholas Abrahamson. Well, I'm sold. I'm increasing my pledge with 2 more add-ons. Smiley face.
It's all been worth it.
All right, Chris Brown on L-plate compatibility. Is the geometry on the bottom of your plates patented? Are you open to working with other manufacturers? Yeah, we talked about this a couple times already. We are. Our goal would be to have another manufacturer that finds this a valuable enough problem to solve it with a set of brackets that use our plate geometry. I don't believe that plate geometry itself is patented specifically.
No, we haven't, and we could have with the design patent relatively easily, but we don't want it to. We're all about open source here, Not probably on the capture itself, and let that be a word to if our friend in Germany who launched the quad clip happens to be listening right now for more details on how to what we say, counterfeit other of our products. Please don't. It's really annoying. It's just, that's annoying.
Mike Rosati, nice promo vid. Looking good, fellas.
That's
My
right.
man. Thanks, Mike. You too, brother.
Mike's a friend of ours in San Francisco, professional
Mike,
photographer.
we'll see you at TI, because from what I understand, you can get us in the pit for Alt-J, and I don't care where in the world I'm supposed to be, that is where I will be. Mike's a concert photographer, and Alt-J is awesome.
All right. Paul Hurley, the marketing guy wants to do intros again.
Yeah.
That was from the very first part of the thing. It was funny. It was funny, Paul. I'd give it a ha-ha, actually.
Too hard.
From Matthew, which one is your favorite Mario brother and why?
I think Adam needs to answer that one.
I'm more of a princess guy myself, actually, if I could go down that road. Just kidding.
I would say Luigi. He's just he's kind of an underdog. He doesn't get as much play, but he's every bit as good as Mario. I mean, doesn't do anything different. And I believe he's gonna win, as he says himself.
Great question.
Yeah. Can I mount the camera on a tripod without removing the straps?
Yeah, absolutely.
You totes can.
Yep.
I believe we have video of that happening in our in the video.
Yes, we kind of have the opposite. It shows us taking the straps off immediately after putting it on the tripod, which is another feature that particularly outdoor photographers like to do, because if it's in a windy environment, that strap is going to be going back and forth. That's one of the gripes of a neck strap in the first place. But yes, indeed, you can do that.
Does the slide include a plate for the camera, for the anchors? Yep, so does clutch. Great stuff, guys. Can't wait to get my slide clutch capture package. We can't wait to send it to you, Nick.
What are you taking swigs of? Is it Hanger 1 vodka? No, it's a recycled bullet bourbon jar that used to say H2O up there. To my knowledge, it's still H2O, although I'm having a hell of a good afternoon, so maybe it's not. I don't know. Here's.
Regarding increasing a pledge, how will the process be to let you know what pieces the increase is for? That's a great question. The short story is you won't have to worry about anything until the campaign is over. We will send you guys a follow-up survey after the funding period is done via a service called BackerKit, and it will be in BackerKit where you will have a very simple interface to tell us what you're adding on to your pledge. So it should be super easy and straightforward, and yeah, it should be good.
Adam, last thing to add to that is that we will have all the products will be available, so don't feel like you have to renew your pledge right now, because you'll be able to do it in BackerKit in terms of increasing it, and we're not going to be on back order for anything.
True. It just makes us look less cool, though, because if we can add that to the Kickstarter stack, then it looks neater.
That sounds good.
But that's about it. BackerKit's a great product.
Can you attach a normal camera strap, non-slide, and a clutch hand strap at the same time? Yes, I believe you actually were demoing that a second ago. But
right
the
here,
short story is yes, you can attach a normal hand strap and a clutch at the same time.
Use our product Anchor Links to do that.
Yep. Add that guy onto your pledge.
Yeah, is he asking without anchor links? Because I don't know.
I think the answer is yes with Anchor Links.
Yes,
Yep.
with anchor links. Yeah, without it, maybe.
Never used
It'd be
it.
a little tight.
Photo Plus in New York is on Halloween weekend. What Peak Design inspired costume will you all be wearing?
We've had this issue before.
Al, I'm going to show my tattoo. Just kidding. Yeah, no, that's a terrible answer.
We're taking, maybe we should have the Kickstarter community vote on our Halloween costume.
That's our stretch goal right there.
Yeah. Spice Girls. All right. You guys are awesome. Use and love your products. Wish I could be able to get your products in Europe from more dealers.
Luke, are you listening? Luke didn't join us right now because he says he's too busy making sales calls to people in Europe. So a pretty apropos question there. And in Germany, Enjoy Your Camera, which is primarily an online seller, they do have a number of bricks and mortar stores, and we are kind of consistently encouraging them to get more, and their business is going that way as well. So.
Would the dealer locator answer that question?
The dealer locator would answer that to the best of its ability, and so hopefully, yeah, right, Mark? Yes. Great.
Let's see. Will you consider a threaded pro screw to mount to mini tripods? Would prefer to keep the capture clip attached to myself in a pinch. I'm not sure.
Threaded pro screw mount to mini tripods. I think
down here.
I think he means putting a female thread on the bottom of a of the pro plate or of the screw itself.
Oh, I see.
You run into issues with not being able to get one of them off. Well, I don't quite know I don't quite get the use case that you're looking there. Would prefer to keep cash. Consider.
So I think the answer is no. We're not considering it at the moment. But if there's a more specific question, you can definitely reach out to us via email on customer service.
Yeah.
Yeah, shoot us an email, Alex, and give us a little bit more detail because we're happy to.
Yeah, I know.
All right. There's Al's question on Halloween costume. Now that I've seen how capture works, can I upgrade my reward level to include it?
Sure.
You absolutely can. You can go to the Kickstarter page and click Manage My Pledge, and you can change the reward that you're choosing. Or if you read lower on our Kickstarter page about the add-on menu, you can utilize that as well to add Capture Pro.
The slide new standard that comes along with it.
Let's address this with people.
I already made a few PD sales pitches to fellow photographers and even a few stores in Israel and the UK. Hopefully expect some calls. Awesome. Thank you, Asaf.
That's fantastic. And Asaf, actually, I was going to say, I remember that picture. I remember you from the other campaigns before. And you've been around for a while, and we appreciate that. And we absolutely have gotten those types of calls. Coming, a lot of, in fact, most of our wholesale effort has been inbound traffic, people that have found us by some machination of Kickstarter, and that's how we grow. And yes, keep it up, please, and thank you.
What distinguishes your sling from other premium slings?
I think that I could tell you here, but if you've gone through the video. We actually bulletize the points of it. We explain how other slings work and how ours is different. And actually, it's an entirely different function. Ours slides over the clothing as opposed to being stationary and having a hardware travel up.
Yeah. To quickly reiterate, one, it's quick connecting, whereas other slings can be a hassle to put on and off your camera. Number two. Slide is versatile. It can be used as a sling or a neck strap or a shoulder strap. And number three, I would say, would be the general design of it. It's very low profile. It's designed to look nice and fashionable and premium and not like a big, aggressive, chunky strap. It's meant to be sleek, low profile, and very nice looking.
Yep. And tripod functionality still works with your tripod. That's
correct.
Good.
Yeah, that's another big one. As Bagger here, glad to be on this as well. I've been waiting for a great strap, and you guys have read my mind. As for the slide, the new standard plate that comes along with it, is there a better pick of that somewhere? There is.
Absolutely. Here, we're going. This is this one had just come from my camera, so it's all well used and everything like that.
That's a worse pick.
Yep, that's a worse pick. Oh, right, yes, correct. But a pick nonetheless. You can see if that camera focuses good. On the corners is where we have the anchor loop attachments. That's the same on all 4 corners. On the bottom, you can see our geometry, which allows it to work with things. And then, yep, there's a screw. There's your pad. It's a great little plate. It really is. It totally does the job. It is more susceptible than here's a cleaner one, but it's more susceptible to this. So I think it's actually important that I show this. Then is the Pro Plate. It does not reduce the functionality of the product. It just makes it look a little bit like this. Pro Plate, though, being anodized aluminum as opposed to E-painted. This is an electrophoretic paint, it's called. Will stand up to that a little better. But your Pro Plate will eventually show the wear marks as well. So just kind of what you get when you rub metal on metal.
Any stretch goals planned?
I'll touch on this one. You know, before the campaign started, we really thought about stretch goals, and we did have one that we wanted to put out there, and that was a colored strap. Because this is made to be a fashionable product, and we do think that the black is always in fashion, never goes out of fashion. That being said, colors would be wonderful, but more than anything, we wanted to run a very, very clean campaign here in terms of the products that we put out there, the production of them, and then the fulfillment of them. And if we could have accommodated a colored strap during this campaign that would fulfill at the same time, we would have put it out there, and that would have been our stretch goal. Unfortunately, no amount of money in the world is going to be able to make a slide camera strap that can come out in the correct amount of time to fulfill the rest of this. So in future years, might we have a colored strap of some kind? Yeah, I think that we probably will, but it would really gum everything up here at this point. And that being said, while we were talking about this morning because we knew we were going to get this question, we evidently are creatively tapped out on what might be an appropriate and great stretch goal, and I don't have anything else in mind right now that, you know, like I say, isn't going to affect fulfillment in a negative way, which is very, very important to us and important to most backers, I think. But, you know, we are always open to ideas. We like fun ideas, and you know, like I said, maybe our Halloween costumes can be a stretch goal. So with that, actually,
I think, you know, maybe just creatively to add into this, a stretch goal would be, you know, if the more the larger our Kickstarter campaign gets, the more money Peak Design has to do R&D and to put out new products sooner. And so, our fans out there, our backers, if you can, you know, talk to your friends, post on Facebook, make some noise about the excitement you have about receiving your products in order to increase our campaign value. It's going to allow us to crank out new products sooner.
Absolutely.
yeah, that help. That's the whole point of running a Kickstarter campaign. That is it right there.
Yep.
This funds our future development.
All right. I am a baker, but just putting it out there, will it work in space?
What kind of baker are you?
Yeah, are we talking about like confections? Are we talking about marble rye? Like you do it all? Probably a backer. Will it work in space? I don't know. Maybe we'll go down, just take a drive down south and go talk to Elon Musk. Good friend of ours, by the way. Elon Musk, really good friend of ours. We hang out all the time. And see if he can bring his next one to space. Then we'll know.
I don't see. Is there any reason it wouldn't?
No.
It will work in space. I'm claiming it.
Art's saying it will work in space.
Hey, that's going on the packaging.
Right. PDT is a stretch goal. Yes, I would like to do this. We have trouble, though, with fulfilling, specifically because of the international component. I don't know. Like I love the idea, Caleb, and Your last name is Friend? That's awesome. How nice. Caleb Friend. Great suggestion, man. We're thinking on it. Okay, it's not on deaf ears.
All right. With other sling straps, such as Black Rapid, the sling slips when the camera is brought up to the eye. Upstrap has a very grippy, rubbery texture that lessens the slipping and sliding. How grippy is the aspect of sling on the shoulder? How grippy is sling?
Great.
Slide.
I actually got. I was using Slide as my camera strap on these last days of travel, and I used it actually as a shoulder strap a lot. I really like it that way. And I did not have the grip feature added into my prototype yet, so I'm very pleased to come back to the office and see that it's great. It does a lot of work. You're not laboring to kind of keep your shoulder level or anything like that. It really, you can see how it too dark there. You can see how it kind of there we go, maybe. Okay, cool. It comes up there. There's a lot of intention behind putting this grippy pattern on the edges like it does, and so it catches a nice edge there, and it's very comfortable to wear as a shoulder strap. There we go.
All right. Last name really is Friend. And thank you for asking.
You got it, man.
The new plate design is much improved. Thanks, Bill.
Agreed.
How do you go from design concepts to products to test? 3D printer?
Yes. Amazing software that was developed by brilliant people that allow us to crank out STL files and create 3D prints, and then crank out a different file format and send them to manufacturers, and then they create tooling based upon that. Software has revolutionized the creation of three-dimensional products, and I think that Peak Design tries to give some props to the folks that are working on that kind of software, and Google Hangouts, which create these amazing products out there. It's a blessing of working in the modern world where so many other brilliant people have contributed immensely to the work that we do, and so that's it. Great, solid modeling software.
Yeah. Well, it depends on the product. A lot of our products, I mean, we've mocked things up in cardboard and paper and fabric and Fimo clay and all kinds of miscellaneous metal scraps around. I mean, it depends on what your objective is. But when it comes down to verifying a close to final design, there's nothing better than 3D printing, and we use it extensively. There's a 3D printing shop in our building downstairs from us that we have a good relationship with. So we get a nice quick turnaround, and it's amazing for my process to be able to have that.
What are the materials used for the clutch? My previous hand straps have quite quickly become worn. What kind of lasting time can we expect from clutch?
This is Hypalon, the material that's closest to you. They make Zodiac boats out of it. That stuff's pretty tough.
Yeah.
This is stamped aluminum. Anodized, wildly tough. This right here is nylon. Nylon is an incredible material, has been for a long time. I'm just kind of going through all the pieces of connection. The underside of this, Art, is, do we go with PU on that?
Yeah, it's sort of a suede feel polyurethane, and it has a.
Oh, this one doesn't have a pattern. We should get. Well, we might have one wrapped away. We've got a little stamped pattern into it as well. Look at that. Got one right here. We got a nice pattern, kind of stamped into that there.
Oh, wow.
And that's sewn into another kind of PU polyurethane that goes on top. This one will see a lot of action, but that's a really nice feeling, kind of suede underneath there. And then our anchor attachment. Excuse me. There we go. We have our glass-filled nylon, and really that connects straight into the Delrin anchors, or POM is the type of plastic. Delrin is the brand name on that plastic. And then the final part of it is Vectran, Vectran is a polyamide, a lot like Kevlar. This one's designed to be more abrasion resistant than regular Kevlar. And then we're connecting to our aluminum plate and our stainless steel screw and to your camera.
Right. Yeah, just so in terms of the materials used, the Hypalon is sort of the backbone of the whole clutch, and it's about as tough of a fabric as you're ever going to find. They use it in a lot of tactical equipments like backpacks and vests and all of that kind of stuff. They use that as the reinforcing points on the high stress areas, like where the backpack straps attach. And this is for heavy-duty military application stuff. It's chemical resistant, it's heat resistant, it stays flexible over a long period of time, heavily abrasion resistant, and has absolutely zero stretch. It's a wonder material. It's the same, and we try and incorporate it into our stuff whenever possible.
Yeah.
Awesome. How do we get in touch with you guys regarding media products? Best way, shoot an email to info@peakdesignltd.com, and that will get circulated through to myself, or we have a couple of guys who are helping us with PR, and we'll get you situated, Ryan. How will the material handle 12 days in a pretty damp jungle?
Well, jungles do get damp. We don't have any, well, I shouldn't say that. We have one carbon steel element to all these products. It needs to be carbon steel because it's spring steel, but that's in these in the spring, which forms the housing here, and that is entirely coated in electrophoretic paint, which is the same stuff that they use to coat car parts that go on the undercarriage of cars. So it's extremely corrosion resistant. You're definitely not going to get any rust on those products anymore. And so, yeah, nothing is really affected by water. Obviously, things like salt water. If you're using this in a saltwater application, just make sure you give it a good freshwater rinse afterwards, and it should dry up fine. Yeah, I think these things stand up very well to weather. All our product.
And enjoy what sounds like a badass trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is it possible to connect the clutch to an L plate, such as RS, instead of the Peak Design plate?
The answer on that is almost certainly yes. There's a lot of different L brackets out there. Almost all of them have a hollowed out cavity. You can easily attach one of the anchors to anything that's hollowed out. The exception might be if you, for some reason, just have too thick of a bar. But I'd be almost certain that you could. As a last resort, if for some reason you couldn't, there wasn't a hole in it. If you had just like a flat plate, drill a hole in there. I'm serious. And file off those edges so it's nice and smooth and doesn't tear up your anchor too much.
Neil Irwin, when can we expect to see UK dealers instead of buying direct from yourselves? I'm not aware of any official dealers. We do have our products stocked in some places in the UK. If you go to our website, peakdesignltd.com, and then click dealers, you'll find a list of UK dealers. But as we said before, our sales manager, who's located in the UK, couldn't make this meeting because he's doing a bunch of sales calls right now. So we hope to have even more dealers, Neil, in the near future.
Okay.
I just love the cup for a bigger male arm. Yeah.
It's 2:51 here. I think at about 3 o'clock we're gonna have to get the hook out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to run too.
Okay.
Let's see if there's any more sort of.
How many people do we have this today?
Will there be a longer version of cuff?
There's been a little bit of kind of variation. It's Karsten, right? Karsten.
Yeah.
In the length of cuff, and the latest improvement has a smaller brand tag on it, and believe it or not, that ends up instead of it being about probably 3.5 centimeters long, it's 1 centimeter long, and so you get that distance times 2 back, or you get about 5 more centimeters. So it will have, yes, the newest cuffs. You see, it's a very short section of sewing, which means that you can open it up that much more, and that is going to be about, like I say, 5 centimeters bigger in circumference than previous cuffs.
All right. Adam Hicks wants to meet some more of the new staff. We did an intro at the beginning when there was 2 viewers.
Right.
Next time we do this, we'll make sure that we wait till everybody's online, and so all the new folks can give themselves a nice deep intro, and we can.
Let's have Mark sit, because Art's been
Yeah,
on board for a long time. Pete's been here. Jen's been around for a long time, but Mark's at least in our office the newest guy. So
Who's the newest after me?
Joe.
Oh, Joe.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I guess my name is Mark. I do a lot of the tech stuff on Peak Design, so mainly websites and all the systems integrations and anything that Jen wants to toss my way. As far, yeah, I'm a Badger too, which is awesome. I saw someone write about it.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so UW is gonna win.
Yeah, read Daniel.
Prediction on the UW LSU game.
Yeah.
Did we get scheduled to LSU? We're playing LSU football.
Yeah.
Oh,
Cool.
are in Lafayette? Am I going to Louisiana? That's going to be great. Well, we're going to go with Big Red, of course, obviously. But that is great news if that's the case.
Yeah. Another thing I'll say with Mark on the team is that we now have an expression called pulling a hey Mark, wherein if any problem ever comes up that just seems too complicated to think about, where it kind of starts to hurt your head to think about it a little bit, we pull a hey Mark, and he will usually fix it within the half hour. So
the other thing that's funny is that I'm essentially incapable of being his boss, since his knowledge set is significantly higher than mine in the fields in which he works. So there's no management of him. He just does it completely by himself. It's just the best.
Well, I'm happy to be here.
He's also super expressive, so
the technology used would make great bags, rucksacks, sling bags, anything like that in development in the future. In short, no, we have not planned any actual bags on our product roadmap, and partially because we ourselves are bag people. We all have very different styles and tastes when it comes to bags, and ultimately the spirit of our products is that we want to be compatible with every bag out there. So coming out with a bag and saying this is the Peak Design bag is sort of counterintuitive to the to the general spirit of our product and brand. That being said, we certainly are looking at different soft goods. We've toyed around with solving the problem of turning any bag into a really great camera bag. So you very well could expect to see more soft goodsy items from us in the future. And we're playing Alabama next year on Wisconsin.
Wow!
Woo! Thanks, Reed.
Yeah.
Unreal.
You showed the new cuff. Does it include the adjustment part like in clutch? Cuff does have a quick adjustment. It's a slightly different mechanism, but cuff is adjustable on the wrist very quickly.
And the new and the new hardware that's part of the updated version release that will be available around the October timeframe. And the best way to know if it's going to if that updated version is going to ship to you is we will note that on our website. So we will only note that when we are 100% confident that we've gone through the existing stock of cuff that is out there before releasing the new version and advertising that we're releasing it. Yep.
Awesome. All right, I think we better wrap this up. We've got the few remaining questions I think we've already sort of discussed. Adam, we'll talk more about we'll go deeper into our team, product development roadmap, and all that kind of stuff in our next hangout, maybe in an update. Thank you guys so much for all of your questions, for being so engaged in this process. We love having these hangouts. We're definitely going to have more of them. We'll probably try to do a different time so those people in other parts of the world don't have to get up at 5 in the morning or stay up super late. Thank you for your support, and let's go get them.
On Wisconsin. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys. This was great.
Thanks, guys.
Great questions.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a
See you
great-
soon. Bye-bye.
Toodles.
Toodles.
Bye-bye.